particularly the utilization of PhilHealth funds as part of our effort to further enhance PhilHealth membership and registration. We will discuss Senate Bill 2983, which mandates PhilHealth, if ever, maging batas po ito, no? Though ang PhilHealth po ay so far, ongoing daw po sila sa magiging implementation nila nitong proof of identification or ID sa mga members. We will also resume our discussions on the updates on the payment of the Health Emergency Allowance or HEA to our healthcare workers. We will also tackle medical assistance programs of the government, particularly the implementation of the Malasakit Centers Act. We will also seek updates on the implementation of programs aimed at upgrading our health facilities. May we request the COMSEC to acknowledge the other resource persons present today. Go ahead, COMSEC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. For this public hearing and inquiry, we have the following resource persons and attendees. From the Department of Health, we have Secretary Teodoro Ted Herbosa.
Good morning, Chair.
Together with Dr. Emmy Lisa Perez Chong, the Undersecretary for Capital Asset Management and Patient Support Cluster. Undersecretary Achilles Gerard Bravo for Internal Management Cluster. Dr. Mary Ann Palermo Maestral, Undersecretary for the Public Health Services Cluster, UHC Area 2 and 3. We also have Dr. Elmer Ponzalan, Undersecretary for Special Concerns. Dr. Albert Francis Domingo, the OIC Secretary for UHC Policy.
Good morning, sir.
OIC Director Alison Umandap of the Malasakit Program Office. Dr. David Suplico, the OIC Medical Center Chief of the San Lazaro Hospital. Ms. Maria Eda Maningat, OIC Division Chief. Director Roderick Napulan of the Administrative Service. Director Cherna Manatan of the Epidemiology Bureau. OIC Director Maximo Adan of the Health Facilities Enhancement Program Office. Together with Attorney Bida Romualdez Aquino, Dr. Keisha Lorraine Rosario, Dr. Ann Dominic Matuba, Dr. Isabella Patrice Diosejo, Mr. Christian Escartin, Architect Louis Molina, Dr. Ara Gatchalian, Ms. Tracy Casimiro, Mr. Ethan Oliveros, Mr. Nathaniel Sison, and Ms. Angelica Ginto. From the DOH Eastern Visayas Peninsula Center for Health Development, Dr. Exuperia Sabalberino, Regional Director, together with Dr. Maria Teresa Caidic and Attorney Era Sil Arcaliana, and also Engineer Narcisa Zeta. From the DOH Davao Center for Health Development, we have Attorney Roby Camille Desabel Sumatra. From the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, we have Dr. Edwin Mercado, the President and Chief Executive Officer, together with Dr. Israel Francis A. Pargas, Senior Vice President for Health Policy, Health Finance Policy Sector.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Ramuel Untalan, Vice President for the Membership Management Group. Mr. Dennis Formadero, Acting Senior Manager, Corporate Planning Department. Ms. Almira Sariba, LLO, and Ms. Melissa Mabagos, also LLO. From the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, we have Attorney Analisa Durando, MD, Director 4, together with Dr. Rosana A. Ditanco, the Division Chief of the Clinical Research Division. From the Department of Finance and Bureau of Treasury, we have Mr. Eduardo Anthony G. Marino III, the Deputy Treasurer of the Philippines, Bureau of Treasury, together with Director Robert Dominic Mariano of the Research Service, Bureau of Treasury, Mr. Alex Saison, Ms. Tanya Rial, and Attorney Ron Michael Uy. From the Department of Budget and Management, we have Director Benjilet Suniga, the Director of the Budget and Management Bureau B, together with Assistant Director May Pinga, Assistant Director of the BMBB also. We also have Assistant Director Lulo Bispo, the Assistant Director of the Budget and Management Bureau C, together with Mr. Jus Rex Abejero, Chief Budget and Management Specialist, Ms. Patricia Arabella Villamin, and Mr. Alexis Red Luis Irasga. From the Department of Social Welfare and Development, we have Director Edwin S. Morata, the Assistant Director of the Program Management Bureau, together with Mr. Artemio Bautista, Project Development Officer 5, and Mr. Carl Jake Gingab, Ms. Iana May Herrera, Ms. Agnes Marcela Lorenzana, Ms. Marjorie Ethel Nuesca, and Ms. Ara Nina Ponce. From the Department of the Interior Local Government, we have Attorney David Rafael Monsalud. From the Bureau of Animal Industry, we have Dr. Christian Dakingan, the officer in charge. He is attending virtually or online. We also have from the Health Technology Assessment Council, we have Dr. Jacinto Blas Mantaring III, the chairperson. He's attending virtually also, together with Dr. Aleli D. Craft, the vice chairperson of HTAC, Ms. Anne Julian Marfori, and Mr. Christopher Munoz. From the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, we have Mr. Arnel N. Casas, the Assistant General Manager for charity sector, together with Attorney Ana Marie Gonzalez, Manager, Ms. Pinky M. Casas, Division Chief of the Individual Charity Assistance Division, and Attorney Julian Isiderio, the Administrative Officer of the Office of the General Manager for Charity. From the Commission on Audit, we have Director Abdul Nasif M. Faisal, Director 3, together with Mr. Frederick Manalo, Audit Team Leader, Ms. Norma Belia Portiles, and Mr. Edwin Eborda Jr. From the Philippine Medical Association, we have Dr. Hector M. Santos Jr., the President. We also have Dr. Anthony Lechon, Independent Health Reform Advocate, and from the Manila Doctors Hospital. We have Dr. Juan Antonio G.P. Perez, UHC Advocate, and from the Medical Action Group and Universal Healthcare Collective. From the Philippine Society of Pediatric Metabolism and Endocrinology, we have Dr. Jedian Aragon, President. From the Type 1 Diabetes Parents, PH, we have Ms. Jennifer Olinga, co-founder, and Ms. Ola Eusebio Santo Tomas. From the Philippine Heart Rhythm Society, we have Dr. Francis Marcelus Ramirez, Vice President, and Dr. Luigi Pierre Segundo, Director, together with Ms. Gina Gagelonia, PHA Media Relations Officer. From the United Private Hospital Unions of the Philippines, we have Mr. Ronald Ignacio, the spokesperson, together with Mr. Roberto Manuel Payo Jr., the Union President of the Federation of Free Workers. From the Super Health Center of Agno Pangasinan, we have Mr. Harold Mejia, the DOH Development Management Officer, together with Architect Rodel Carolino, Licensing Officer. From the Super Health Center, Bani Pangasinan, we have Mr. J.D. Dulay, from the DOH Development Management Officer. From the Governor Celestino Galiares Memorial Medical Center, we have Dr. Miguelito S. Jayoma, Medical Center Chief 2, together with Attorney Peter Eman Mende, Legal Officer. From the Corazon Locsin Montelibano Memorial Regional Hospital, we have Dr. Joan E. Serrada, Medical Center Chief 2, together with Ms. Ana Rose H. Mahilom, the Chief Health Program Officer. From the Cardinal Santos Medical Center, we have Ms. Shen Santillas, Nursing Aide, who is attending virtually or online. We also have from the CDR-MMO, Imo City, we have Ms. Maria Teresa Borsena, admin staff, together with Ms. Lara Aida. Mr. Chair, that would be all.
Would like to acknowledge the presence of my colleague, Senator Rafi Tulfo. Before we start, let me just give me my opening statement. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. During my proclamation speech as a re-elected senator, I said that with all sincerity, we will continue to push for pro-poor programs and laws, especially on health. Health is wealth. Ang kalusugan po ay katumbas yan ng buhay ng bawat Pilipino. We must work together to bring quality medical services closer to our people, particularly the poor and indigent patients. Ang kalusugan po ay napakahalaga. At mahirap pong maging mahirap magkasakit. Ilapit po natin ang serbisyo medikal sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino. Sa mga nakaraang pagdinig, naging puspusan ng kumiting ito. In fact, 14th hearing na po ito kasama yung HEA and about PhilHealth. Naputol lang po ito ng panahon ng campaign period due to availability ng ating mga resource persons. At tuloy-tuloy ang committee ito sa pagsusuri ng mga programa at serbisyong pangkalusugan ng gobyerno. As promised, we will continue and we continue this hearing in pursuit of our goal to make health services more responsive, efficient, and truly accessible to the Filipino people. As part of the oversight function of this committee, patuloy nating babantayan ang PhilHealth upang masiguro na matutupad ang kanilang ipinangako sa ating mga kababayan. In fact, during budget deliberation, budget hearing, and before we approve, umirma po sila ng commitment along with the DOH sa kanilang mga pinangakong reforma. Yung mga pulisiyang napakatagal na dapat baguhin ay kanilang ipinangako na gagawin po nila. At ngayong taong ito, tuloy-tuloy po yan. At yan po ay patuloy nating babantayan. With the recent oral arguments held by the Supreme Court on the PhilHealth Fund transfer, several observations noted by the justices were these very same issues we uncovered in our hearings before the Supreme Court proceedings. Yun po yung pinag-usapan natin dito. In fact, paulit-ulit nating tinalakayan dito. At yun rin po yung napag-usapan doon sa Supreme Court. Salamat sa Supreme Court at nabigyan po ito ng pagtugon. Ito pong excess funds na inyong tinigil muna. Matagal ko na pong sinasabi kung ginastos nyo ng PhilHealth ang pondo ninyo noon para sa mga pasyente, wala sana kayong sobrang pondo na ibinalik sa National Treasury. Kung ginamit nyo po ang pondo to expand benefit packages and increase case rates, ilang pasyente na po ang nasalbar, ilang buhay po ang inyong nasalbar dito sa mga pondong ito. Sa oral arguments, one of the good justices manifested that PhilHealth only covered 50% of his almost 7 million hospital bill. That is less than 1% lang po ang sinagot ng PhilHealth. Another justice pointed out that PhilHealth has prioritized investments over program benefits and reminded that funds appropriated for PhilHealth should be exclusively used for PhilHealth purposes. One justice suggested to overhaul PhilHealth for its failure to comply with the law involving the use of its project. Matagal ko na rin pong let me repeat. One justice suggested to overhaul PhilHealth for its failure to comply with the law involving the use of its budget. At matagal ko na po itong paulit-ulit na sinabi, ang PhilHealth po para sa health yan. Hindi po negosyo ang PhilHealth na papalaguin nyo po. Insurance po ang PhilHealth na meron pong masasandalan ang Pilipino tuwing tayo ay nagkakasakit. Marami po mga kababayan natin takot magpa-hospital, takot magpa-check up dahil sa kahirapan. Yung iba po hindi nila alam na miyembro sila ng PhilHealth. Sa totoo lang sa ngayon 28 million out of 115 million Filipinos ay nakapagrehistro sa konsulta program ng PhilHealth. That is less than 1/4 pa rin po. At maraming Pilipino ang hindi alam na miyembro sila ng PhilHealth. Kaya nakikiusap po ako sa PhilHealth at kasama na po dito itong Senate Bill 2983 which mandates sa PhilHealth to issue proof of identification to its members. Kayo na pong bahala, PhilHealth, kung gawin yung i-tie up nyo with the national ID, okay lang sa akin, or you may issue an ID na mura lang po, hindi kailangan mahal. I-laminate nyo lang. Ang importante, meron pong ipapakita yung pasyente sa hospital na proof na miyembro sila ng PhilHealth para hindi sila matakot magpa-check up. Matagal na natin itong isinusulong. Tingnan nyo po, may buntis po sa Cavite, sa Cebu. Mga anak, ayaw magpa-hospital dahil sa kahirapan. Namatay po yung mag-ina. Kung alam lang nila na tutulungan sila ng PhilHealth sa pagpapa-hospital, hindi po sana nangyari yon. I share the same sentiments of our justices. In fact, meron pong provincial health officer ng Camarines Norte na admit siya 4 million ang sinagot ng PhilHealth, 27,000. Na-admit siya muli, another 6 million ang sinagot ng PhilHealth, 29,000. A total of 57,000, that is less than 1%. Since tinaasan nyo na po ng 50% ang inyong case rates, magkano lang po yun? 28,000. A total of 85 to 86,000 out of 10 million. Less than 1% pa rin po. Kulang pa rin po. So wala pong dahilan na ibalik nyo po ang inyong pondo sa National Treasury habang naghihirap pa yung mga kababayan natin. Gamitin nyo po to expand your benefit packages. Ang dami pong sakit. I share the same sentiments of our justices. Paulit-ulit na nating sinabi yan dito sa nakaraang hearings. Sa isang interview, sinabi po ni PhilHealth President Dr. Edwin Mercado na hindi talaga kayang sagutin ng PhilHealth ang buong hospital bill ng pasyente. Totoo naman po, aminado po ang ating presidente na kulang talaga, hindi kayang sagutin. Kung hindi nyo kayang sagutin, bakit nyo binalik yung inyong tinatawag na excess funds? Hindi excess funds yun. Magagamit yun sa mga pasyente. Nagkataon lang po na during the time of former President Emmanuel Ledesma po yun. Puro promise rin po yun dito. Nakakalungkot po, habang naghihingalo yung mga pasyente, naghihirap yung mga pasyentes, sobra-sobra yung pondo ninyo, binalik pa sa National Treasury. Marami pong paggagamitan. Maraming buhay po masisave. Since PhilHealth has excess funds in billions of pesos, we continue to fight for the passage of Senate Bill 2620, which seeks to reduce premium contributions. Andito po yung ating author at principal sponsor, si Senator JB mamaya. Simple lang po ito. Ako po'y patuloy natin isusulong. Sana po'y maging batas po ito. Sana po wag kayong kumontra dito. I think kumukontra po ang mga finance manager natin na wag po bawasan yung premium contribution. Dapat pong bawasan. Kung kahit magkano, bawasan niyo po ang premium contribution. Hindi po maintindihan ng mga kababayan natin. Sinuli niyo nga yung pondo sa National Treasury. Ibig sabihin, sobra yung pondo ninyo. Sabi nyo, sobra yung pondo nyo. Pero sa totoo, hindi sobra ang pondo ninyo dahil marami pang matutulungan ng mga ospital. Kung taasan nyo po ang benepisyo ninyo, dagdagan nyo yung mga benepisyo ng mga kababayan natin, hindi magmamakaawa yung mga pasyente. Hindi yan maghihirap, magmamakaawa, hingi ng tulong sa mga politiko. Dapat PhilHealth na yan. Ang layo pa natin sa full implementation ng Universal Healthcare Law. Sa totoo lang po, tama yung sinasabi ng mga ibang nagko-comment dyan. Ang layo pa natin sa full implementation ng Universal Healthcare Law. Buti na lang may malasakit center na meron silang matatakbuhan kahit papano mababawasan yung problema nila sa pagpapa-hospital. Totoo naman po yun. Kung malaki po ang benepisyo ng PhilHealth, kung ibinalik nyo po ang pondo ng PhilHealth sa mga kababayan natin, mas mababawasan po ang kalbaryo ng mga pasyente, lalong-lalo na po yung mga mahihirap nating kababayan. Buti na lang po, naisipan natin noon na itong malasakit center. Sa totoo lang, even before I became a senator, alam nyo bakit? Bakit ko naisipan yan noong 2018, 2017? Marami po, galing po kami sa lokal, galing kami sa baba, alam namin yung problema sa baba. Halimbawa po, may pasyente, 87,000 yung hospital billing nila. Lunes, lalapit yan ng City Hall o ng Provincial Capital. Hihingi po ng tulong. Bibigyan ng 20,000 ng mayor. So, may balanse pa siyang 67,000. Martes po, pupunta yan ng PCSO, madaling araw, alas 5, hihingi ng tulong, bibigyan ng 5,000 ng PCSO. Miyerkules po, pupunta yan ng DOH. Bibigyan po ng tulong, 10,000. Nakaipon na siya ng 35,000. Pupunta yan ng DSWD. Magmamakaawa pa. Para humingi ng tulong. Bibigyan ng 5,000. Nakaipon siya ng 40,000. Finally, ang PhilHealth, babawasan. Magkano? 5,000? 45,000. May balanse pa yan. 42,000. Isasangla yung Carabao, ibibenta yung refrigerator para lang po makalabas ng ospital. Totoo po yan sa amin sa probinsya. Bakit magmamakaawa ang Pilipino? Pera ng Pilipino yan. Pera natin yan. Pera ninyo yan. Dapat po mapakinabangan yan at wala pong pinipili. Kaya Naisipan natin ito noong 2018 sa Cebu. Sinubukan natin sa Vicente Soto. Inilagay natin sa isang kwarto ng hospital yung PhilHealth, PCSO, DOH, DSWD para tumulong po sa mga pasyente. At walang dapat piliin. Karapatan po ng Pilipino yan. Karapatan nyo po yan. Lapitan nyo lang po yung Malasakit Center. When I became a senator noong 2019, isinabatas po natin ito. One-stop shop lang po siya. Napakasimple po na konsepto. Naisipan natin ito para sa mga kababayan natin at dapat walang pinipili ito. Pera nyo po yan, mga kababayan ko. Karapatan nyo po yan. Ang importante lang dito, ang tulong ng mga ahensya, tulong ng PhilHealth, tulong ng PCSO, tulong ng DSWD at tulong ng DOH. Please, itulong nyo po sa mga mahirap. Pera ng Pilipino yan. Hindi nyo yan pera. Balik nyo po sa Pilipino. Hindi natin pera yan. Hindi nyo pera yan. Pera ng Pilipino yan. Karapatan yan. Lalong-lalo na yung mga mahirap. Unfortunately, dito sa nangyari ngayon, marami pong nagmamakaawa pa, humingi ng tulong sa mga MAIFIP program. Kailangan pa nilang lumapit at humingi ng tulong sa mga politiko. Pera naman ng taong bayan yan. Dapat po ibalik sa Pilipino. Napakalaga po itong tinatalakay natin dito about PhilHealth. Kasi pag tumaas yung inyong case rates, inyong coverage, expanded yung benefit packages nyo, mas mababawasan yung problema at hindi na magmamakaawa ang Pilipino. Ayun, yan po ang nakakalungkot. At patuloy kong babantayan po itong PhilHealth sa ngayon. At hindi po ako titigil para sa Pilipino. Unfortunately, we receive information the Department of Finance does not agree with the reduction of premium rates. Paano nyo po ito ipapaliwanag sa ating mga karaniwang manggagawa? Kaltas po ito sa sweldo natin. Bawat sentimo, bawat piso, napakahalaga po ito. Kaya po, sana isinusulong namin ni Senator JB at makasamahan natin na babaan po yung premium contribution. Kaya po tayo merong pinasang batas dito. Sana po wag kayong kumontra. Kahit konti, mabawasan po muna yung premium contribution. Dahil nga, sabi nyo, sobra yung pondo ninyo. Malaking bagay. Kaltas sa pawis natin yan eh. Wala kaming magagawa kung kukontra po ang Department of Finance reduction ng premium contribution. But sana, PhilHealth, pinaglaban nyo. And even yung former president, CEO ninyo, si Mr. Ledesma, Mr. Boy Promise. He promised, sabi niya, he will recommend to the executive department na babawasan yung premium contribution. At ngayon, isinabatas natin, may bill tayo rito. Sana suportahan nyo naman po. Hindi naman siguro mababawasan ang inyong serbisyo dito dahil malaking bagay po ito sa mga kababayan natin. Ang layo pa po ng full implementation ng UHC. Sabi ko nga, lessons learned tayo dito sa PhilHealth na kaysa patulugin ang pondo, ibalik nyo na lang po sa mga kababayan natin sa pamamagitan ng mas mahusay na serbisyo. Kung utos po ng Korte Suprema na ibalik ang inilipat na pondo, dapat wag ninyo itong sayangin at gastusin nyo po ito para sa mga pasyente. Tandaan nyo po, pera po ng taong bayan. You must act with an extreme sense of urgency dahil buhay po ang nakataya dito. Why I laud PhilHealth for delivering most of its commitments, including, salamat no, including the 50% increase in case rates. This may not be enough. Sabi ko nga kanina, 50% ng 57,000, 85,000 pa rin, less than 1% ng 10 million kung sakali yung tinutukoy nating kaso na tinasan nyo ng 50%. Recently, it was reported with the rising cost of medical supplies. So kahit taasan nyo po ang inyong case rates, a majority of private hospitals have begun implementing a 15% increase in hospitalization rates. Kaya naman dapat pag-aralan ng PhilHealth kung paano po kayo makakasabay ang inyong mga benepisyo sa actual hospitalization costs. We also urge PhilHealth to look into other packages that must be developed and enhanced. Ang dami pong sakit na dapat ninyong pagtuunan ng pansin, like mental health packages, considering that according to a recent study, mental health of Filipinos worsened in 2024. It is important to ensure that all members are informed of the benefits they are entitled to. Even more important is letting Filipinos know that they are members of PhilHealth. Kaya patuloy nating isusulong yung sana po yung inyong ID na i-issue po before matapos ang taon. Matuloy po itong inyong ipinangako na magtuloy-tuloy inyong pag-issue ng identification or ID para alam ng mga kababayan natin na membro po sila ng PhilHealth. Sa ilalim ng UHC or Universal Healthcare Act, lahat ng Pilipino ay membro ng PhilHealth. Kaya importante na malaman ng mga Pilipino ang kanilang benepisyo. Napaka-importante po yung benepisyo alam ng mga kababayan natin para kampante po sila at hindi sila matakot magpa-hospital o magpa-check up man lang. During the previous hearing, PhilHealth reported that only 28 points or almost 28 million out of 115 million Filipinos registered in the Consulta program. Malaking tulong po kung may pinanghahawakan nga po sila na proof na miyembro po sila ng PhilHealth o nakapag-rehistro na po sila sa e-Consulta program. Andiyan naman po yung mga pasilidad ng DOH, yung mga HPEP na pinapatayo, pwede nyo naman pong i-tie up yan sa inyong e-Consulta program. Andiyan rin po yung mga bukas program ng DOH. Sana po yung mapakinabangan po ito ng ating mga kababayan through e-Consulta. Ang mahalaga po maging panatag ang ating mga kababayan na tuwing sila po ay magpapa-hospital, andyan po ang PhilHealth na kanilang masasandalan. For this reason, I filed Senate Bill 2983 mandating PhilHealth to provide its members with proof of identification or ID. Kahit anong ID po. Murang ID, importante po. Meron lang po silang may pakita or even tie up with the national ID system. We will also continue to discuss in this hearing the developments in our goal of making medical assistance more accessible. Part of this effort is the Malasakit Centers. We started it in 2018 at naging batas po ito noong 2019. It's a one-stop shop para po ito sa Pilipino. We have also another issue. The Philippine Hospitals Association of the Philippines has expressed worries following the delayed payments under the medical assistance to indigent and financially incapacitated patients or MAIFI program after some politicians sponsoring medical assistance were voted out of office after the 2025 elections. Maaaring sagutin niyo po ito na marami po mga delayed payments. Bakit, ano bang rason ninyo? Anong delays tapos ng eleksyon? Kailangan ba bang matapos ang eleksyon bago sila mabayaran? Bakit kailangan haluan ng politika ang pagtulong sa ating mga kababayan? Paalala ko lang po sa DOH na wag po gamitin ang medical assistance sa politika. Dahil karapatan po yan ng Pilipino. Pera po ng taong bayan yan. Marami ding private hospitals ang nagrereklamo dahil wala pa raw pong pondo binababa at binabayad sa kanila under the MAIFIP program. Sa DBM, maaaring sagutin nyo po ito. Baka mamaya magtuturuan na naman kayo. Parang ping-pong na naman itong sagutan natin. DBM, DOH, hindi pa nag-issue ng SARO, hindi pa nag-issue ng NSA. Ano ba yan? Hindi nyo naman pera yan eh. Pera ng taong bayan yan. Alam ko, hindi mo masasagot na baka nasa yung mga higher officials po ang makakasagot niyan. Pero pakibulong na lang po sa kanila, sa mga boss ninyo. Sabi niyo, sir, ma'am, hindi niyo naman pera yan. Bayaran niyo na yung mga utang ninyo at para makinabang naman yung mga pasyente natin, mga kababayang mahirap. We also committed to make this hearing as a platform and avenue for our healthcare workers to voice out their concerns. Maraming salamat po sa DBM, in fairness, at sa DOH. Last year, after 13 hearings, finally, nabayaran po ng yung 27 billion yung health emergency allowances ng ating mga health workers. Services rendered po yan, pinagpawisan po yan, pinaghirapan po yan ng ating mga health workers. Sila po ang hero ng pandemya. Hindi natin mararating ito kung hindi po dahil sa kanila.